Here, Open Studio live stream. I'm going to take you through the whole process today. Once again, been on a little bit of a streak. Gonna create a mixed media abstract piece. Not sure what it's going to be. Past couple days, we've done stuff like this, a few other examples I could show you, but we're going to go ahead and pretty much use all the tools that I've used separately for these pieces that I've created this week and use them all today. So there's another one that we created on our live stream earlier this week. Just having fun with the immediacy and the quickness with which we can do these abstract pieces. We're going to do it on Canson watercolor, 7 inches by 10 inches, 140-pound cold press paper. This was a bargain here, which was gifted to me, so I'm going to make good use of it. I like tearing these out first before separating the perforated page, just easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll tape it down and we'll get started. Been able to complete these pieces usually within about 30 to 60 minutes. So come along. These are quite fun. During these sessions, I just work. I don't talk too much. So if you're looking for more educational content, I have quite a few videos on the channel that will offer that. But this is just me welcoming, easy for me to say, you into my studio while I work. It's beyond time for me to clean off my workstation here. Maybe I'll do that today. It's a rainy day here in northeastern Pennsylvania where we live. Grateful I was able to get outside and paint on Plein Air a couple times this week. And I'll probably do so again tomorrow, weather permitting. And it might be out in the Susquehanna River Valley, which will be something different. Oops, that's frustrating. When the painter's tape rips sideways. There we go. I got too greedy. All right. I'll show you one more thing before I get started. Destroying myself here. If you check out some of the other content on my channel, lately when I've been plein air painting, I've been doing these little mint tin mini plein air paintings. Starts with a gessoed piece of uh, board, and been going out, and this is a good exercise. And there's some videos out on the channel that show two of the last three sessions that I've done in this format. This is yesterday's. It was kind of a gray, snowy day, and I was on a hiking trail and got visited by um, some funny dogs. An older lab, and who was off his leash, sounded really aggressive, but just came by and just kind of checked out my work. It was pretty funny. But this is a really good practice that I think I'm gonna kind of stick with for a while. I have about another 11 or so panels ready to go, and probably be. I don't know if I'll live stream it tomorrow or not, but I'll be trying to get maybe two, three, or at least a handful of these small little paintings done um, on plein air when I'm out visiting the Susquehanna River Valley, closer to central Pennsylvania. So let's see, put these back on this off. All right, so this week we've experimented with gesso. And hey, Anna, thanks for checking out today's live stream. Gesso, watercolor splatters, masking, various masking agents for the watercolor. We've tried a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit of each of those. Watercolor, pastel, charcoal, and this again will be a mixed media piece. And I'm going to go ahead and use, instead of black gesso, I'm going to use white gesso. And instead of using my big foam brush, I'm just going to use my back of a brush handle here. And instead of a bunch of exclusively vertical lines, I'm going to do a whole bunch of random lines and drips with the gesso. Let's see what happens here. Now this is acrylic gesso, white acrylic gesso. You probably can't see it very well, but it's going to provide some unusual texture for me. And this is the same material that's applied to those wooden panels that I showed you just moments ago. When it dries, and I'm going to use a hair dryer in order to dry this faster for this session. When it dries, it gives a nice surface to paint on. It's somewhat archival, more so when it's on a solid substrate like a wood panel than it is on paper, but it'll do for these little experiments that I'm doing here. Okay. Let me get that in some water. I'm going to put the lid on my gesso. Then we're going to dry this little texture here. I appreciate that. Yeah, the expressive marks, the little scribbly loop-de-loop kind of things kind of remind me of art that I'm not necessarily a fan of, but I admire because Twomley for a number of reasons. I mean, I wish I had an example to show you, but those are those gigantic scribbly paintings that sell for millions of dollars at auction. The more the more I observe them, the more I appreciate them, but it's not the style that I'm generally drawn to. All right, here goes the hair dryer. All right, so I started breaking up some of those bigger splatters just so it'll dry a little faster, and it might even lend for a more interesting texture. This is just the beginning of this, so we should be able to wrap up this stage in just a few moments here. All right, so it's mostly dry. There's some tacky parts, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and apply our first layer of watercolor just using inexpensive pan style watercolors. I'll be a little less aggressive with my splatters today because I got them all over the studio, including some of my favorite artworks yesterday. But we're going to start with some warm colors. You have kind of like an orange here. With some lines, just using a fan brush, kind of going in the opposite direction of many of the textures that I have. And then I'll get to some splatters here in a moment. Okay. I'm going to go into kind of a Prussian blue and get some of those going. Not a lot, just a few. Okay. Now I'm going to dry that. And then I'm going to go into some charcoal and pastel. All right, I have a little bit of burnt willow vine charcoal, and I'm just going to use the side of it and see how it interacts with some of these textures. Okay. Let's see what happens when I bring some moisture into, actually, before I do that, see what the blending stick does here. You can see some of the gesso is flaked off. It's because I started moving it around when it was just about dry. That's okay. We'll blow those little crumbs off in just a little bit. And let's do this. I'm going to go into a warm color and a little bit of a wetter application. No magenta. Let's see what happens here with our magenta. Okay. Now I'm going to take a bit of kind of a lighter raw sienna color and get some of that flowing on here. I'll let that be for a bit. We're going to get the hair dryer one more time. And we're going to go into our pastels. I have this older set of pastels here. Bring a little bit more of an opaque, heavier medium. Not quite sure what we're going to do here, but I might go with, let's see, I have this, looks like dark blue. This is almost like a Prussian blue. Let's see. Just reacting to the marks that are already on the paper. What next? Maybe a pale bluish gray. What's that? Okay, I'll bring it up. Thank you. That's my wife's blow dryer, so I need to return it. I've been borrowing that. Okay, there we go. Some nice evidence of that texture. I'm going to look to apply similar hues in each of these existing shapes. I think I like the way that that's working out. So let's see, I have kind of a magenta color here, a little darker and heavier. I'll follow this ribbon. It's kind of interesting. And then I have some white pastel chalk here. I'll clear it off. Through with a heavier hand here in some of these areas. Scrub it in. Okay, just gonna tap this off real quick and get any loose bits out. Okay. I'll go back to my vine charcoal, but I'm actually going to use the point and look to create a little bit more contrast selectively in some areas. Really just stream of consciousness, not a lot of thought process here. Just kind of reacting to the marks that are already laid down on the paper. Oops. The same approach with the chalk pastel. And selectively apply it a little bit more aggressively. Let's see what happens if we apply just some water in some of these areas. Over the charcoal and pastel mixed in with those existing textures. It might provide for some interesting stuff. Let's see. Yeah, kind of like that. One more hit with the blow dryer before I return it to its rightful owner. Just a few touches, I think, to reestablish some of those darker areas, and we'll be done. I'll put a little bit of fixative on this after I tear off the tape. Let me start framing some of these. Oops. So we combined all the things that we did this week so far, experimenting with these multimedia abstract pieces. We have some textures, some splatters, some watercolor, some charcoal, gesso. Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of tension in this one, which is kind of neat. It's kind of interesting. So it's a good diversion. It's a good way to kind of still get some creative work in. I generally am a landscape painter. This also is the type of process we would follow in some of the workshops that I run through AirBnb Experience. Creative visual journaling. It's one of two workshops I have out there right now. So you could check out more information about that in the notes for this video and others on my channel and on my website. But in any event, nice, easy process to follow. No fuss, no muss, no stress. You could do this for a couple minutes or a couple hours. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. I'm going to pull the tape off so we could see what it looks like with those more finished edges being revealed. Try and keep those clean if I can. All right. This is something anybody could do, even if you don't have confidence in your own sense of aesthetics or mark making. And yeah, you don't need expensive materials. You can pop this in a frame and you have a nice little piece of artwork. If you're reticent or feel like you don't necessarily have the confidence to create art, there's no reason for that. You can scribble and experiment and dabble just like I did here and create something pretty nice. And you know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's no pressure, and if you approach this from the right kind of frame of mind, it could be very relaxing. So I appreciate you checking out my Open Studio live stream. I appreciate the interaction there. Thank you so much for the comments. And we'll try and do this just about every day, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half or 2 hours in some cases, depending upon what we're working on. typically somewhere between 5 and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And some of these works will actually make it out onto my website. Um, Oftentimes, I'll do some additional things to finish them up and preserve them, make them a little bit more archival. But check out some of the other videos. I have some instructional content out there, some book reviews, mostly art and creativity related books. Um, but appreciate you checking out my work. Stay well and hope to see you again sometime soon. Take care.